What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with another lucky dip, and this one comes from Vera's collection, which she's titled Random One-Offs. Though hopefully this isn't a one-off, and in a way it's incredibly surprising I've not yet reacted to any Creedence Clearwater revival on my channel. This is a band I know going back to my youth, and which I was hugely fond of. I had some compilation, I don't know like if it was called Greatest Hits or something, but it was a CD compilation. It had like 18, 20 tracks on it or something, and I loved them all. And I remember very specifically Fortunate Son being in the soundtrack to Forrest Gump, along with a lot of other interesting tunes, fair to say. So yeah, I know this band going back to my youth, and I had that CD for a long time. I don't think it's in my collection anymore. I haven't seen it for years, so I'm guessing during a move or something it went the way of, not the dodo, I guess, but yes, it somehow fell out of my collection and I don't have it anymore. But I'd like to see what I can do about that because, as I said, it's a band that I was very fond of going back to my younger days, and though my knowledge of their catalog isn't extensive, I'd say there's at least a half dozen or so tunes that immediately come back to me, like Have You Ever Seen the Rain, what is it, Looking Out My Back Door, Fortunate Son. Proud Mary here, if I'm thinking of it correctly, I think it's the rollin' on the river, or rollin' on a river, I forget exactly the phrasing. So I think I know this one reasonably well, but it's not one that would come to my mind first. There's a handful of tunes that I would think of before this. Oh, like their version of I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which I remember being quite long. It's like 10 minutes, 12 minutes long or something. So yeah, I'm very fond of CCR. My knowledge of their history is that they were around for about a decade, maybe a little bit more, but they had a very acrimonious breakup, and I think John Fogerty, lead singer, had a falling out with the rest of the members, including his brother, and I don't think they've ever played again, though my understanding is that John has continued to do a lot of their songs in his solo concerts. I think the other guys, what is it, like Creedence Clearwater Revisited or something? I think they've continued to play a lot of the catalog. Either way, it's really interesting to me when I learned that they formed in the Bay Area. I forget exactly the city, but I think it's up in the San Francisco Bay Area, which I only say that because they sound like they could not be more southern rock. It has that classic rock mixed with southern rock sound. And so again, when I found out that they had at least come together, now I don't actually know their biographical histories. Maybe they do, come from other parts of the country and they just so happen to become a band up in the Bay Area. But yeah, I remember being surprised like that. I was like, wait, like what? I thought for sure they'd be from, Alabama or Arkansas or something. Nevertheless, I love their sound, and it's a shame that the way history played out, that they weren't making music and albums for longer. In any case, as I said, I think I know this song, though I can't think of the title phrase in the lyrics, and I can't even, other than that one moment, just that one rollin' part of the song, I can't really think of the melodic run either. So it's not a full lucky dip, but it is a partial lucky dip. And secondarily, I hope it's the beginning of more Creedence Clearwater revival reactions, because again, their catalog, relatively small it might be compared to some other groups who continued for decades beyond. It's, I think, quite legendary, and rightly so. Let's hear it. This is Creedence Clearwater Revival. The tune is Proud Mary, and it's part of a Lucky Dip folder provided by Vera, which is entitled Random One-Offs. it is the song I thought. I didn't remember a lot of those lyrics though, and although I can't stitch it all together on this listening. I'll say it's more like socioeconomic than I recalled. I mean, he's talking about, working for the man, what was it, day and night or every day, something like that. And then, what was it, not seeing the good part of any city. I feel like there are maybe some different places being referenced, but certainly there's a contrast between these cities and then down by the river where the river folk, it doesn't matter if you don't have any money, they're a giving sort, and it sounds like he's saying, it's like it's a song of a wanderer, but like an everyman. It's like, the man, the sort of the powers that be, the authority figures, governmental, corporate, what have you, social, they're pressing you down. They're, trying to grind you and get everything they can out of you as this big wheel of life and money and society turns. And that can wear you down or make you feel like you're just a cog in a wheel or a cog in a machine, and you're not, valued or seen even as like fully human. But if you go down by the river, those are the folks who, they'll be there. They see the human side in you. They're there to help, and it doesn't matter if you're down on your luck. You can find a place there, and perhaps, that's the narrator saying that's where you want to be, or that's where he wants to be, is not in these big, oppressive cities where, you're just a name, you're just a mark on a ledger, or like, a number on a form. And it's out in rural riverine communities, perhaps, where there's a real greater cultural vibrancy. So again, maybe that's not all of it. Maybe I'm actually misinterpreting that, or at the least, like, I'm missing some points. But that seemed to be where the song was headed. I don't know about Proud Mary, though, because it's like, the wheel keeps on turning, and Proud Mary, what is it, keeps on burning? So I don't know, Proud Mary, exactly how to read the title phrase. But yes, I love the mellow, again, kind of southern classic rock groove to it. The guitar work in particular in the latter half, it, flourishes. It doesn't go crazy, but it, it has some flair and some creativity where it's, not just that main riff, which is already very satisfying. It did amuse me, though. He said at some point, New Orleans, which my understanding is down there. They don't like it said that way. New Orleans is, I think, the preferred pronunciation, which in turn made me think of the San Francisco area because, I've been up there a couple times. Like, my cousins lived a little bit outside there. They lived in Fremont, but we would go to San Francisco. And my understanding is if you say either Frisco or San Fran, you will get hissed at, and that is not a preferred way to refer to the city. So I was amused because, again, I always thought they were like a southern group, and maybe I wouldn't have caught that pronunciation when I was younger. But yeah, like I said, I believe he said New Orleans, and I think that is a disfavored pronunciation. Not that it's really important for the song, but it did catch my ear. But yeah, they're awesome. I really want to go through more of their songs. Again, like, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Always love that one. Fortunate Son, Heard It Through the Grapevine. Those would be awesome to go through. So I'll see what I can do. I'm sure it won't be a problem. And, maybe somewhere in the annals, the archives of my physical media collection, maybe that CD is still somewhere. I doubt it because I really haven't seen it for, a decade or more. But either way, I'm looking forward to more CCR. So is Luca, despite her completely apoplectic posture. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.